Hello, I'm Mark,
I'm Casey.
And I'm Patrick.
and today we're going to talk about FSD and take rates that Lars provided us with. But before we get into those details, Casey's going to run that title card.
Would you ride in a Johnny Cab? I know I would.
You're watching the Tesla Life Express.
Obviously, the modern interpretation of one.
The modern Johnny Cab. Is that what you're saying?
Welcome to Mars.
Yes.
Thanks so much for being with us. We wanted to talk about this article that we'll link below, as we do all articles. But this particular article was talking about Lars and actually Franz were out for a drive with Jay Leno from Jay Leno's Garage, doing a segment on Tesla, and Lars in the back seat started to talk a little bit about FSD and take rates and percentages.
Yeah.
And that was unusual because that seems to be a live wire when it comes to Tesla about real numbers. They kind of keep those tight to the vest and don't talk about that.
Yeah, the financial analysts have asked on the quarterly calls several times, and they say, nope, we don't talk about that.
Exactly. So
and Lars is like, here it is. Open the kimono.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, that's kind of interesting news. And does Lars have a job after this segment goes live? But apparently he's still there. So it wasn't too bad. But the conversation went along, and Lars opened up that, for example, when it comes to Tesla's flagships, the S and the X, there at this point is a 50 to 60% take rate for newer S's and X's buyers who are opting to take FSD immediately instead of subscribing.
Yeah.
Where when it comes to the Ys and the 3s, that's not even near that height. It's been
single digits. I think he said.
Like it's certainly like a 6 times difference compared to the S and the X. So
and it does make sense though. You look at the price difference between the vehicles, and you're less price sensitive on S and X, and it's going to be even more skewed now that they've got the luxury package because it's just there. So you have 100% on those cars, and it was also before this. It was a matter of trust, and so not only did you have more money to I can just do that thing and see if I don't like it, I just won't use it, but it's there when I sell it. Now you've got the certain amount of folks who distrust new technology, but they're not afraid of technology, so they would get an electric car, but they wouldn't necessarily be comfortable being the first one to have their car drive them in any capacity other than basic cruise control. And so more of those folks are going to be practical and pragmatic, and I'm going to get the cheapest new electric car I can get. And it's got this thing, but I don't do technology, so and so I can always turn it on later. I can subscribe to it for a month or two if I like it, and then or the people who don't keep the car long enough that they would have got it all. Yeah, your sister woke you up. They won't. She looked at me like this.
You did say she does not like being woken up,
right? Like she wants to fight me. Like you let her come in here.
I didn't do this.
Yes, it was your job to keep me in a quiet, comfortable environment, and you failed.
Right? But you've got the folks who are gonna be more pragmatic about it. They're gonna spend less on a car, to know that they can. I'm not saying everybody, but you're gonna have a larger cohort of them of this mindset in the lower priced car, and that's part of the beauty of putting FSD on everything, not just for having safety on all the cars, but as they get more comfortable with it, they see it, or you give them the free trials and they say, this thing is not bad, and then at some point they're gonna say, okay, I'll subscribe to this, or I'm gonna keep this car another 15 years, so let me just buy the thing, and then I will have spent the $8,000, $4,000, $20,000, whatever it costs this week, and made my money back on it, or at least not feel bad about it. And then another kind kind of interesting thing about it is now that it's come out that this is going to be part of Elon's new pay package if it votes in.
Right.
What moves will we see them do to bring these numbers up? What are they going to do to push it? And
yeah,
I think
so the article indicates that before FSD started to get more solid, certainly way before Robotaxi, it was single-digit percentages for the 3 and the Y. As it got more solid, Lars indicated not an exact number, but he did indicate that we were into the teens now.
Teens, yep.
Yeah.
And as they do those trials, you can kind of get a feel for it, or you get a friend who's got it, and you either ride along with them, or they sit you behind the wheel and say, hey, just don't let it crash, and push go. And, oh, whoa, this is nice. I don't hardly ever feel like I want to push the brakes or adjust it. Okay. Oh, whoa, whoop, 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 I fixed it. And then the next time you ride in their car, oh, I didn't have to fix it one time.
Right.
And then in yours, you're like, oh, I'll buy this thing.
Yeah, it just makes a lot of sense for putting all the hardware in every vehicle, whether or not you're buying FSD when you purchase it or subscribing to FSD. But now they can do that free trial. People can test it out. You could just get it if you're taking summer road trips, and then if it does work really well for your use cases, you can be like, hey, I love this and I want to keep it. So, and you couldn't do that if you had to pay whatever $1,500 just to try it for a month. That wouldn't work out.
Yeah, because like in Mark's case, you got to upgrade the hardware first, and then So I'm curious now. I keep thinking the IBM model every time I fully realize what they've done there is that all the cars have all the equipment, and a bunch of the IBM mainframe, the big iron, they would have either all of what they could offer or a good portion more than what you paid for. And I know you could unlock them for a one-time fee, but did they ever do rentals or loaners or like, hey, why don't you experience what your application
for the weekend? Yeah,
right. Wouldn't you like to see what it's like at year end and quarter end if you have these extra 3 processors turned on for it's only going to cost you this much, but try it out for this particular quarter and feel it.
Software unlock salesmanship.
I don't think they did. I don't think they did.
It doesn't sound like an IBM thing. Yeah.
Because it was probably very difficult for them to turn those hardware options on or off, and they were probably quite amazed if they could get it to turn on with just without sending. Maybe they had to send someone out to open the back of the machine and flip some wrenches to make this actually work.
Yeah, move some dip switches.
What's this guy's job? Oh, I type in the password to unlock your extra codes.
Exactly.
It's a per customer password, but I have to type it in. That's my job.
Right. Yeah, that was before the over-the-air kind of world we live in now.
Exactly. So just to go over the numbers once again, is when currently Lars indicated that Model S and X are somewhere between 50 and 60% take rate out of the gate. 3 and Y are somewhere between 12 and 18% is the guess. And that would mean the entire fleet, when you look at the actual numbers from both sides, the entire fleet, the take rate would be somewhere between 13 and 19% overall. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's still quite a bit available to them. Even at the high end of 19, that's only 1/5 of the fleet at this point on an annual basis is getting that turned on. But certainly doubling it in the past year is no small feat either. Right,
and that really just tells you how much better that software is getting. The number of interventions that I have has gone down significantly. And now it's mostly just like little things like, I prefer to be in this lane on that turn and you're in that lane, so I'll take over and move you. But I really didn't have to. And
or it's like some regional
but you do
thing.
it anyways. You just say, I can't live with this. I've got to interject.
Right, because there's one spot where you make a left and there's 2 lanes that turn left. And of course, I'm backwards. But anyway, and then you have to follow that with an immediate right. So if you're in the right of those 2 lanes that go left, then you're in the correct spot for the next turn. Otherwise, you have to try to merge in, and you don't have that much time, and you're just causing a problem. And then you have to be a jerk and cut somebody off, and I'd rather not do that, so I'll force it into the lane that I want, just so that the rest of the drive goes smooth. And normally you can do that with the turn signal, but at this spot, it's going to be turning left, so I don't want to use the right turn signal to have it, so I'll just take over, get it into the right spot, and then turn it back on. And it's weird because I'll do that a couple times, and then it'll work right, but then we get an update, and then it's like it forgets that, and I have to correct it a couple more times, and then it starts doing it again. So, and I'm not sure if that just means it's not getting into the training data, and there's some local subset of data that's knowing, oh, now he wants this preference, so I'll remember that temporarily. It'll be interesting to see. And it's not like it wouldn't work. It's just that I don't want to get it into a situation where I could be cutting somebody off, or I could be letting FSD cut somebody off. I'd rather be a courteous driver, be thinking ahead, and doing better path planning for multiple turns ahead. So, yeah.
Have you ever heard Grok talk to you through the speakers and say, Patrick, that really wasn't necessary?
Well, they've also got another trend that's popping up around the country, but particularly where I've been driving, where they've got you've got a right-hand turn coming up, and it's got a protected right, or even no, it's usually just a right, and but then you've got this gas station that they just built or renovated, and it's got a full lane with it looks like the turn lane, and it's close enough because it's a corner gas station, but it's not enough. It ends in a dead front. It's because it's to scoop you into the gas station. And I've made a mistake driving manually, and I've seen the car make this mistake as well. And we both correct it the same way, like, oh, let me get back out to there. And but sometimes it depending on what the traffic around you is doing, I might, just like Patrick, want to not just be technically correct, but also not risking a road rage incident correct.
Yes.
And so I'll pop it back in there myself. Other times I'm like, it does the wrong thing, and I'm like, oh, I'll wait it out to see how it does. And the thing's like, oh, I fit in there, and boop, I'm like, I would not have tried to fit in there, but you did technically fit in there.
Right. Yeah, it is getting so much better. And I think when version 14 comes out, again, whenever there's a new version, there's some regression at the beginning, and then when they get to 14.2 or whatever, it'll be way better than 13. Whatever 8 or 9 their final one was. So it'll be nice to see how this next version comes along.
So speaking of spreading FSD and increasing it, now that if this passes and it becomes part of his pay plan, do you think that we'll then start to see the idea of FSD as a vendor, where we'll find somebody like probably not a Volkswagen Group because they've got Rivian, but anybody else where they pick up the FSD package direct from Tesla?
That would be a big step, getting another OEM to accept it as their software. And of course, as we've talked about this possibility before, it would be literally years before it makes it into the first model for them, because
it'd be about 6, at the fastest.
It takes a long time for these other car manufacturers to not just get it into the car, but of course have the proper hardware, have the proper communication, have the proper horsepower, computer-wise, to do what it needs to do, and that would be some really monumental changes to that car's internals to be able to facilitate that.
Now there have been some developments though where this could be a fast-track drop-in, where we could see it in as short as a year or two from when they sign up. It might be that long before they tell us that they've done it, but like if they've already got the right cameras and placement, and then they just like switching out your stereo from a Bose to a Pioneer, they just make that change at the next model year line and turn on the FSD, and boom, assuming that the rest of the components can handle it.
They'd have to have like probably AI5 by then, if not 6. And even with Cybertruck, when it came out, the camera locations were slightly different. They had to go through training before. So, I mean, there were months there where it couldn't do the same thing as the 3 and Y could do. Yeah. So I think that's an interesting way for Musk to get to that milestone for the pay package. And as we've seen with superchargers, they're willing to open up that network. And so I'm sure they would, for a price, be willing to sell FSD. And you'd have to use their cameras and their inference engine.
Musk Musk said that you just need the cameras in the right place. So I would imagine they would just want the inference engine and software at that point, assuming that your feeds are quality, like they're good position and high enough resolution.
But like Patrick said, there would be minimums. They'd have
yeah,
to.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But that's kind of interesting how this is going. I never thought about putting it into his pay package, and if that's going to be pushed a little bit harder, because that could help him achieve some of those goals.
But then when we see it as a safety feature, like I don't know if anybody else would include it at no cost, include it at no cost, or if that would be a stipulation, like, hey, we'll sell you these, but you're going to have one in every car, because like remember when Volvo gave seatbelts away, just like this could happen, and then it very quickly, other than like Vermont, you get a point where people wouldn't buy the car without the 3-point seatbelt or the seatbelt period, depending on which period we're talking about, and this could be bigger than just like, I don't the way they see us, I'm too lazy to drive my car, but really it's like, hey, this thing takes such a mental load off of us, but you can't describe that. You can describe it, but they don't get it until they have a chance to try it. The same as not having to go someplace to get more miles. Like, hey, if I had to go to the phone store every time to talk some more in this day and age, it would be weird. So why do I have to, a couple times a week, a couple times a month, go somewhere to go drive further? And so I think FSD
I keep thinking back to the OEMs wanting to charge $280 to load a new map on your car.
Yes.
So I have a feeling they're going to charge to the hilt if they can.
That's why I was wondering if Tesla would force it. Like, hey, all cars must have it, but to turn it on, for the advanced features that's not safety, you can charge, whatever you charge, or they can, say, hey, you can charge $8,000, or but the airbag like functionality, where it's watching your back, you've got a wingman. The one I like to do is somebody steps into the street, or you push go because the lights turn green, and somebody's blowing through that green light. I don't see any reason not to make that free on all cars. That's a safety feature.
Yeah, I could see this as say, 5 years from now, this when it's proven to be safer than a human, and it's readily available, and you can actually have even an unlicensed person behind the wheel. Supervision is not required. Where you might want to buy that and say you have a teen that needs to get around it, but you don't want them driving because teen drivers are not known for being the safest drivers. So instead you say, you can take the car, but I'm putting it in FSD mode, and you can't unlock it. It's kind of like they have valet mode, or there's a teen driver mode today, right? So
they just added to that,
so you could add FSD mode, and sure, you've got the car, you've got the app, and you can take it wherever you want. Or actually, it'll take you wherever you'd like to go.
Right.
And so now you're effectively cybercabbing your teen driver around, or teen passenger around.
Yeah. Or even if they got the learner's permit and you think they're responsible and everything, it's like, hey, the 3 strikes, instead of it turning off at the 3rd strike, all right, you're FSD everywhere. You can't drive anymore because you haven't proven yourself responsible, and you're going to hurt somebody. And
that would be interesting. Yeah. So if there was forward collision warnings or excess speed warnings or whatever, as a parent, you're just there in the app watching them, going, "Oh no, FSD now."
Let the car do it. AI. This is Grok. This is Grok. I saw you cut that truck off. Why are you racing that guy? All right, you do one more of these and you're done, Mister. And then roll the stop sign and like
just
Grok's
shows
like, I got
strikes show up on the screen. Strike 1, strike 2. You're an FSD. That's it.
You got the turkey. Yep, you are now FSD
mode. Bring me a permission slip, or we'll try again next week.
Let Grok be the parent. That's awesome. Exactly. I like this idea.
The permission slip would be from the parent, like, oh yeah, I said he could do that. Hopefully not, but that way the parent's in charge, but at least that way you could say this is the strikes, this is the parameters, and because you can't have eyes everywhere, but can you? Yeah, now you can.
Right?
Yeah. Well, that's a question to put out to the audience: is what do you think about those type of additions to FSD? Does that make sense? how long do you think it will be before Tesla, say, doubles the take rate again with FSD? What kind of milestone do you think FSD will have to reach in order to entice people to go from mid-teens into the 30% area? What do you think is going to be required? What would push you into it if you currently didn't have it? So we'd like to see that in the comments, what you think. With that said, Casey, what do you got for shout-outs for us?
Yeah. Hey, do you want to drive the car, or do you want me to let the car drive you when you're a teenager? Just let it roll you around. Yeah? She said I can take the car? So catch us on Wednesday for the Tesla Life Express Live, and make sure that you've got your bell checked so that if we have any bonus editions of this, you can have them. Or if we happen to catch a last-minute live stream that was announced hours before it came out, like we had with the Mega Block. Who knows?
Exactly.
If the bar's on, you know we're doing it.
Patrick, any shout-outs from you?
Yes, as always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org. Check out our events calendar. And I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net, where I write about my future free from fossil fuels. Thanks.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. We will catch you next time and find out what's happening in the Tesla life.
Catch you on the flip
And
side.
hopefully Casey still has a microphone by then.
Hopefully, because this thing is 20 years old. So.